Hello everyone, my name is Mark Hennessy and I'm from Joint Base Lewis McChord's Joint Base Safety Office. I'm here today to present what we have as a safety office and some of the things that you need to remember as an employee here. So if you'll sit back and enjoy our presentation, I'm glad you were able to make it today. On Joint Base Lewis McChord, we have actually two safety offices. One of them, which we are from, is the Joint Base Safety Office. And there's also the 62nd Air Wing Safety Office, which is more the mission side or more closely related to what you all do. We are more concerned with anything within the fence line that could affect everybody on the installation, so the missions are a little bit different. The first area that we'll talk about today is reporting safety hazards and accidents. If you encounter a hazard or someone informs you of a hazard, you have a duty to communicate orally or written to your supervisor or collateral duty safety officer. You can use oral or written to the Joint Base Safety Office if they are not able to handle the problem at the local level. This can be done using the Department of Army Form 4755 or Air Force Form 457. If you're involved in or happen to witness an accident, the first thing and most important thing to do is to call 911 if someone needs care. Next, you notify your supervisor immediately, and that supervisor will notify the collateral duty safety officer. They can forward the information to conduct the investigation to us, the Joint Base Safety Office. Our beginning subject as far as hazards today will be on traffic. Traffic in the Seattle-Tacoma area typically ranks in the top 10 as the nation's worst. I-5 is fed into through McChord and through the Army base here at Joint Base Lewis McChord. So you get a lot of rush hour traffic that's coming in from a lot of smaller artillery roads, causes a lot of stress in the morning and the evening, a lot of road rage. Major causes of accidents are speeding, tailgating, distractions from cell phones, eating, etc. in your vehicle. And if you'll notice to the photograph to the right is a picture of some of our local photo enforcement. You'll notice these especially in the off-base school zones. Be very careful if you come close to even running a stop sign. They'll flash and they'll have your information and you'll receive a ticket for it. There's a considerable amount of them in the local area. The second area of consideration while you're working and living around the Joint Base Lewis McChord area is parking. This is considered in the Madigan Army Medical Center, the commissaries, the BX, the PX. Parking is really limited everywhere. We ask most definitely that you slow down, use rear view mirrors and turn your head, watch for pedestrians in any of these areas. This is where we have a lot of our traffic accidents and fender benders. Weather is a third area of concern in the local area around Joint Base Lewis McChord. Winter equals rain, black ice, fog, and ice storms. Please slow down and allow more space between vehicles. Be aware of bridges and tree-lined roads where icy conditions can build up. Use headlights and diminished visibility, not just at night. Snow is not the norm, but can happen. For installation road updates, call 967-1733. Don't be fooled by the decent weather. It can change in a moment. Speed limits on the installation are as follows. Base speed limit as posted. If not, it defaults to 30 miles an hour. Housing is 20 miles an hour. School zones are 20 miles an hour. Flight line is 15 miles an hour. Parking lots are 10 miles an hour. And especially if you happen to be on the cantonment side, over on the Fort Lewis side, when passing troop formations, please limit your speed to 10 miles an hour or less. In addition, if you are on the cantonment side for Fort Lewis, there are some roads on JBLM Main where vehicles are prohibited during PT hours. These will be posted. Normally it's from 6:30 to 8 in the morning, but there are times where there are some irregular runners, so please be very observant in the morning. Flight line driving requirements for McChord only. You are required to have a competency card and Air Force Form 483 issued by Base Operations. Make sure you get a thorough flight line check ride, and please ask any questions that you have while you're going through this check ride. Rules for crosswalks. Again, it's a very condensed base, so there's a lot of areas where you're going to have to cross very busy thoroughfares to get across. The 6 rules for crossing are: pedestrians entering into crosswalks have the right of way. Pedestrians must yield to vehicles at other than marked crosswalks. It is illegal for pedestrians to step in front of vehicles so closely as to cause imminent danger. Just because you are standing on the curb by a crosswalk does not mean traffic must stop. Drivers must be alert to all pedestrian movement and be prepared to stop. Pedestrians should make eye contact with drivers to ensure the vehicle is going to stop before entering the street. The next area of consideration is wildlife. It doesn't happen a lot, but there is the very high potential, especially during certain parts of the year, to strike wildlife, especially deer. The periods of concern are normally between October and January. Areas to look for as you're traveling and you come to wooded areas. After coming out of built-up areas, you can almost expect for something like that to come out, especially in the mornings or in the evenings as you're headed home from work. So please keep an eye on that. And that's most of the wildlife hazards we have. Headsets and cell phones is another big area of concern on the installation. Army Regulation 385.10 and Air Force Instruction 91.207 prohibit wearing headsets, earphones, or any other listening devices while running, jogging, walking, bicycling, or operating vehicles on or adjacent to roadways on DoD installations. It is prohibited. Both service regulations in Washington State prohibit talking on cell phones unless using a hands-free device. Texting is also prohibited while driving. It's a primary offense. Considering other forms of transportation, a bicycle helmet is mandatory. Air Force personnel must also wear a highly visible outer garment during the day, an outer garment containing retroreflective material at night. Front and rear lights are mandatory. Skateboarding, blading, etc. is not to be done on main roads or parking lots. There are skate parks on Lewis, Maine and McCord Field, so please use them. A class and protective equipment are excellent and mandatory ideas to operate a motorcycle on the installation. There is a requirement to attend a basic rider course, then within 12 months, take either the experienced rider or military sport bike rider course, then again every 5 years for one of those 2 courses to stay within your certified status. If you are not able to take a course on base, there are other places as long as you take an equivalent course. This includes scooters and mopeds. Air Force members need to call the Joint Base Safety Office at 253-966-6924 to register, since they do not currently have AKO accounts for the Air Force. That's what's required to take the course, so we will manually do it for you when you call us. Seat belts are a big issue on the installation. You must always have a seat belt on, and everybody in your vehicle must have a seat belt on when you're driving on and off the installation. Drunk driving, designate a driver or don't go. If you have any concerns about any hazards or safety issues or any other questions, please address your supervisor or the collateral or additional duty safety officer. You can also call the 62nd Air Wing Safety Office in Building 100 at 982-5307. You can also call the Joint Base Safety Office in Building 2007, second floor, A Wing at 367-3079. On behalf of the Joint Base Safety Office at Joint Base Lewis McChord, I thank you for attending today, and I hope I've been able to get you some information you can use to keep you safe during your tour here, and I hope it's a good one. Thank you for attending today.